Hi Virgo, welcome back to your full moon in Leo reading for February 5th, 2023. For the next 2 weeks, your theme will be the world. It's a nice card. It is a card of completion. It's a card of one cycle ending and a new one beginning, but there are just a few little minor things that you have to kind of clean up before you move on to that next phase. Sometimes it can be like a protective spiritual box that we're kind of, I don't want to say stuck in, but in the middle of. As you can see, this wreath is all around him. And that's sort of like a little blockage so that you don't jump the gun. So that you make sure that this cycle is completely complete and you can move on without any ties to what doesn't need to go into the next cycle. So it's a very good card as far as I'm concerned. Like I said, the full moon is completing a cycle, so in the next 2 weeks you're going to be completing something to move on to something else. So let's see what that is. Well, you have the Six of Swords. For me, the Six of Swords is moving on. It's kind of like taking the things that you've learned, because it's right after the Five of Swords, and the Five of Swords is a really difficult card. So taking what you've learned from your difficult situations and moving to some place where your emotions are much calmer. It's kind of like lessons learned. That's the way it is. It is not any different. Let's move on. That's really the feeling. It is sort of resignation, but that just sounds a little bit negative. In reality, you're moving to some emotionally calmer waters. You have the Lovers with that, so there were choices, there are choices. You could be at a crossroads right now, and maybe you need some calmer waters to figure out, what direction you're going to be taking for this new cycle. The Lovers is associated with Gemini for me, and this is about, in this particular card, it is, do I choose the more mundane, more of my passions, or do I choose something loftier, higher, for the good of myself and others, or just, a loftier choice? So you might be taking some time out, calming the emotions to make some major decisions, especially where the world is concerned, so in the new cycle that's coming in. And this could be one of the things that you're being protected, because you're going to these calmer waters to try and figure that out. And in the meantime, you have the protection of the world. How you're dealing with it. Well, there's the Five of Wands. Okay, so there has been some difficulty. This is a no-win situation. It is the impact of your words on other people, and with this card, you're kind of being asked to allow your more egoic energy to not move you into or create a situation where you can hurt yourself or other people, because it wouldn't be a full win. And that's what they mean by no-win situation. You may get what you want, but it's not the way you wanted it, and that's a no-win. Five is instability that seeks balance. You have the Fool card with that. So it could have been something said foolishly, something that happened out of folly. But in this case, with the Five of Swords, the Fool is not well aspected. This is more of a difficult aspect with this card. And so maybe you did something foolish that did not have good repercussions, and now you are kind of dealing with that. Maybe you said and did something in the past that was harmful, and now you have to deal with it. Now you kind of have to deal with the fallout. But with the Six of Swords there, you know, you get a moment to, I mean, this could be that somebody did that to you. And so now you kind of have to take yourself out of the game a little bit, find your emotional balance with that Six of Swords, and think things through, because swords are action and thought. And so you kind of have to like take action to think things through and come to other decisions, or make another, because this is the crossroads, right? Make another decision. I do feel like you're off as well onto a new journey, and especially with the World card there. And so you want to do that on a good foot. Okay. So with that, you have the Moon, which is things that are a little bit foggy, a little bit weird, but it's also your deeper fears that kind of come up, especially with the full moon, and looking at your shadow self, dealing with the shadow side of yourself, which would absolutely be this Five of Swords in this case. Maybe you might even want to talk to somebody about it, because the Eight of Wands is communication, but it's also all of your thoughts being focused in one direction and moving swiftly. I would pay attention to your dreams. I think they may have some prophetic information in there for you, because it feels to me like the dream world wants to communicate with you. Your subconscious wants to communicate with you. Okay. Let's get some clarification cards here. I think once you do deal with your subconscious shadow, or the shadow self, or some of your fears, then things will turn around very quickly with that Eight of Wands. Very quickly. All right, let's see what's going on here. Let's get a clarification. Okay. So it feels to me like you have difficulty in making this choice, or you feel like you can't affect solutions. And you're at a crossroads, but you feel like you can't do anything about it. The Eight of Swords can also mean that you aren't supposed to at this moment. That there's sort of like a greater, sort of invisible hand steering your ship at the moment. But that doesn't make it better. You still feel like you're stuck in the mire, right? That things are muddy right now. And I know Virgo doesn't like mud. Virgo likes pristine. Sometimes this is very voluntary, though. Sometimes we're not supposed to do anything other than take ourselves out of the situation and move to calmer waters, where we can think about it more, where we can understand it more. There could be somebody leaving your situation as well that you feel bad about. It almost feels to me like whatever you did wasn't your intention. It's not what you intended to do. It was a mistake. It was folly with the Fool. But it kind of got out of hand, maybe? And now it feels like there's not much you can do about it. This was with cooperative efforts. The Three of Pentacles can be the new thing that you are moving towards or want to begin. But this is cooperative efforts. It is creativity with three, but it's sort of the apprentice who just finished learning something and wants to, and like kind of gets his first job. And so he wants to impress, he wants to make the right impression, and maybe that didn't go as well as you hoped it would. That's also possible here for a few. It's a general reading, so it can be a lot of things for a lot of people. So I feel like I'm at a loss for words, and I think that's what's happening here, that there is a loss for words. Interesting. I always have something to say, but for me, there's a feeling of a loss of words, a loss for words. Interesting. Still, with the Three of Pentacles, it's live and learn, right? We learn from our mistakes, and hopefully that's what's happening here. I think so. I think things can become clear by the end of the 2 weeks. Things will start moving, right? So you have the Eight of Swords here where you feel stuck, but all of a sudden things start moving. And that can just be the moon and its phases. Do you know what I mean? So at the end of this particular phase, things get to move again. And maybe while you were waiting, that's when the Five of Swords happened. It was out of frustration. And then we have the Three of Cups, which is a really beautiful card. It's about, so see, things really turn around here. It is about learning from our mistakes. And this is a celebration. It is people, mostly females, with the Muse card here, that lift you up. They hold you up. This can be, well, it's not your birthday, but it could be birthdays, it could be celebrations of some sort, but it's gratitude. It's really feeling grateful for something. And I do feel like towards the end of the cycle, things are going to shift. And I like that for you. Good. I do like to think the best in people, so I just feel like maybe out of frustration, something was said that was hurtful, and sometimes you can't take those things back, but live and learn, right? Live and learn. What does Spirit want you to know? The Strength card. So it is about taming the beast within. It's about self-control. It's about healing from some difficulty, but the Strength card has a lot to do with Leo, and those are egoic energies. And so remember what I said about the Five of Swords is, well, maybe I didn't, but it's about not letting your ego rush in. It's, taking a few breaths before you speak and not just defending yourself immediately with the Five of Swords. So if you check your ego at the door, you can like stop the momentum or diffuse that energy. And with the Strength card, it's saying you learn that self-control. You tame the beast within. I think that's the big lesson here. And I think this is the thing that's going to close out this cycle for you where the world is concerned, right? Yeah. So that's the purpose of this next 2 weeks. I think you'll be very happy with the outcome. It's just, yeah, a little difficult getting there. But the lesson that you learned, and if you learn it, it will serve you well. It really will. Okay, Virgo. Thank you for listening. I hope this has been helpful. I will be back in 2 weeks with a new moon reading. Really, this is a pretty good reading, and it ends very, very well. All right? And like I said, the lesson learned is that's priceless. And that's what we're supposed to do. That's the point, right? Learn from our mistakes. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Take good care.